Welcome everyone to the Inside Java Newscast, where we cover recent developments in the OpenJDK community. I'm Nikolai Parlock, Java developer advocate at Oracle, and today we're going to deep dive into LazyConstants, a preview feature in JDK 26. You may already know them as stable values, a preview in 25, which changed not only its name but also its API quite a bit. In fact, this evolution tells us a lot about how OpenJDK develops features from low-level mechanisms to higher-level concepts, something I will discuss towards the end of the video. But before that, we'll go over the relevance and challenges of laziness and the LazyConstant and LazyCollection APIs. Ready? Then let's dive right in. When we talk about laziness in programming, we don't only mean programmers slacking off while our code is compiling or Claude is clobbering our codebase. It also means to defer computation. Generally speaking, we're more interested in being lazy in deferring a computation. The longer it takes, the better we can do it with more information, and the higher the likelihood that we can get away without needing it at all. In the Java runtime, many processes are lazy. Just to name two examples, Java only loads and initializes classes when the code that is currently executing first references them. And it only clears out garbage and frees up memory when empty memory is needed. Our code is also often lazy, usually in ways that are almost too obvious to notice. Of course, we don't preemptively load all users from the database or all files in the config folder. Instead, we wait for such actions to become necessary, usually for specific elements. At the same time, though, our web framework does probably eagerly initialize all controllers before the first request comes in. And it's not always clear what the right option is, because as most things in programming, laziness comes with trade-offs. Not doing things until you definitely need them means you may produce better results or end up doing less, both of which is good. But only doing things on demand can mean that specific demand takes longer to fulfill, which is bad. And then there are Java's specific downsides of laziness. Our program's infrastructure is defined by instances that usually refer to one another through fields. Lazily initializing a part of a program thus often means lazily initializing a field, and that comes with two specific challenges. It's more complex code that can be hard to get reliably right, particularly when concurrency is involved, and it may prevent the use of the keyword final, which makes code more fragile and harder to optimize because the field can be reassigned later. So to level the playing field, Java could do with an API that makes lazy initialization easy and gives us, as well as the runtime, the guarantee that the value, once computed and assigned, remains constant. Enter JDK Enhanced Proposal 526 and LazyConstants. JEP 526 proposes the new type LazyConstant. Instead of creating a final field of type t and computing its value during construction, you declare a final field of type LazyConstant of t and create it with the recipe for that computation. To that effect, you'd call its static factory method off with the supplier of t. Then, later, whenever you need the value, you just call LazyConstant.get. And that's the whole API. Or at least it will be the whole API in JDK 27, but we'll get back to that later when we'll discuss its evolution. Before that, let's take a closer look at lazy and constant. As you have no doubt inferred, the supplier you created the LazyConstant with gets executed to compute the value that get returns, but at most once for the first call to get. If there are multiple first calls concurrently, only one executes the supplier, while all others wait for the result, and of course all future calls to get just return that same result. That takes care of the complexity of lazily initializing a field at most once, even under concurrency. But most experienced Java developers can create a type that does that. What sets LazyConstant apart is not the lazy aspect, it's the constant. Because once the value is computed, it is assigned to a field that is annotated with @stable, which informs the Java runtime that it will never be reassigned, that it's constant. So your reference to the LazyConstant is final, and its reference to the value is constant. And that opens the door to an optimization called constant folding, where a chain of constant references can be shortened to just one load. Unfortunately, as you may remember from Inside Java Newscast number 101, reflection can change final fields of regular classes, so they're not actually constant. For the time being, only final static fields, record components, final instance fields in hidden classes, and now lazy constant values are. But once reflection superpowers are guarded by a command line option, all final fields are constant, which will considerably expand the room for this optimization. Okay, rapid fire round for a few more behavioral properties. LazyConstant is not serializable. LazyConstant rejects null, so don't have your supplier return that. If the supplier throws an exception, it will come out of get, and if you try again later, the supplier will be called again. Maybe it works better this time. So technically, it's not at most once, but at most once successfully. If the supplier ends up calling get in a cycle, you're in trouble, but LazyConstant notices and shortcuts this likely infinite loop with an illegal state exception. If the supplier blocks indefinitely, you're in real trouble, because neither the thread executing it nor any thread waiting for the result will come out of this. The API offers neither timeouts nor cancellations. LazyConstant really insists on the lazy aspect and doesn't want to compute its value when you call equals. So all there's left to compare is the LazyConstant's identity. And even if it wanted to compute values, and we'll see in a second a related case that requires that, the behavior becomes really hard to intuit real fast. If you want to play this out, leave a comment and we can discuss there. Want to learn more about Java 26 or about anything Java really? The architects behind it and community luminaries will be at Java 1 in March 2026, giving talks, holding Q&As, talking to you. Details and a discount code in the pinned comment. I'll see you there. LazyConstant gives you a one-to-one relationship between owning class and needed value. But what if you need 1 to n? You could of course declare a LazyConstant of list, but then the whole list needs to be computed at once. That's probably okay in many cases, but probably less so in others. So JEP 526 also proposes a lazy list and a lazy map, but these are not exposed in the type system. Instead, you call list.offLazy and map.offLazy and get a list or map instance respectively that implements the laziness under the hood. For a lazy list, you need to provide the total size and a function that takes an index as input and produces the element at that position. For a lazy map, you provide the key set and a function that takes a key as input and produces the associated value. As you'd expect, the functions are executed exactly once when an element at a given index or for a given key is first needed, even under concurrent access. Beyond this on-demand computation, these collections are unmodifiable, and the runtime can apply constant folding optimizations to code that accesses the content of LazyConstants through lazy collections. Now, for equals, these collections cannot be as blasé as LazyConstant because both list and map demand a proper implementation, and that may require the computation of some values. Which values exactly? All of them with 2 lists or maps are actually equal, but maybe fewer if they aren't. I looked at the source code and could tell you what happens when, but the Java doc doesn't specify the behavior, so it's an implementation detail, which makes it a fool's errand to rely on it. So I won't. I'll be accepting accolades for my restraint in the comments. Let me play you a short segment from a conversation I had with John Rose, senior architect of the Java virtual machine.
We have something called stable variables inside the JDK, which we use all over the place. The things became more and more useful, but they're boxed inside of the JDK. But that was a necessary step to have something JDK only, friends and family, we call it.
Yeah.
Until we learn how to use these things correctly and we teach the VM how to optimize them correctly. He talked about his stable value API, which is built on top of these stable variables. And finally, we figured out, number 1, how to optimize them. Number 2, how to brush them up and make them good for polite company so that we can put them on the street corner instead of just in our own living room.
And the evolution didn't stop there. As John explained, the JVM has a concept of stable values, which are marked by the aforementioned @stable annotation. The first step to lifting that into an API for us were stable values in JDK 25. Note that the name was very much based on the low-level concept, and its API included the collection factory methods and had a lot of imperative functionality too. For JDK 26, the name changed to something more relatable to us, and as the concept came into its own, it also became clear that the lazy collections are not primarily lazy, but primarily collections, and so their factory methods moved over there. And as the concept became clearer, the API dropped a lot of its imperative craft. Not all though. In JDK 26, you can still ask a lazy constant whether it's initialized, and you still have an or else method that lets you handle the case where it isn't. This is a distraction from the intended use case though, and so JDK 27 will likely drop these methods, which is why we didn't discuss them earlier. As lazy constants rise to a sharply defined concept, this leaves a bit of a vacuum for more low-level interaction with the @stable annotation, and it's likely that something will fill that. And when it does, we'll of course cover it in Inside Java Newscast, so subscribe if you aren't already. I want to leave you with a few more words by John Rose summarizing this whole process. You can watch the rest of my conversation with him by clicking here. I'll see you again in 2 weeks, and later this year at Java 1. So long!
That is a progression that is repeated over and over again for many features. First, we find a pain point of something we want to do and we can't do. Then we do something special inside the JDK and teach the JVM about it. And then eventually we make an API like virtual threads or stable values or Panama. Oh my gosh, Panama.